Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for day 16 in 30 days of yoga. So today we are doing a lovely full body stretch. So we are going to be stretching into all the different parts of the body today, with different options throughout the practice as always, and just coming into a comfortable seated position so that we can get started. So I'm going to have my legs crossed. If that's not comfortable, you can bring your legs out in front or come into any other alternative position. So we're going to bring the hands with the palms facing up today, so a gesture of receiving new energy. An option to take your chin mudra, which is bringing your index finger to your thumb. And closing down the eyes or just taking a steady gaze out in front. As you breathe in through the nose, notice how the air feels. Does it feel cool or warm? Where can you feel it traveling to within your body? And letting the shoulders run down your back. Let the sitting bones sink down into the mat. Seeing if you can connect to a sense of grounding. As we focus on the breath, as little as 60 seconds of focusing on your breath has been shown to lower the stress hormones within your body. We can help to access our rest and digest part of the nervous system where healing takes place, just by using our breath. Noticing any sensations in the hands or the fingers. So sending our gaze inwards, sending your awareness inwards, noticing whatever is alive for you today. Opening the eyes back up now if you had them closed. You can release from your mudra. And we'll bring the right fingertips to the mat beside. Inhale, sweep the left fingertips up. Exhale, stretching over to the right. Take a breath here, and then I want you to guide that left hand over so that it's coming down to the mat as well. So you're feeling this stretch into the side and back of the body. If it doesn't come all the way down, that's okay. It doesn't have to reach the mat. Listen to your body and what you need in this practice. Inhale, sweep up and over. We come over to the other side. So left fingertips come down, right hands reaching up, stretching over to the left. Breathing here first, and then sweeping that right arm all the way over. Once more on each side, so inhale, sweeping over, stretching over to the right, letting that left hand float down to the right side. And last one, over to the left, stretching and floating that hand down. And coming back up to center. We're going to come into our deer pose now. So I've got my right leg bent in like I'm cross-legged, and then my left heel is coming out behind towards my hip, or you can leave a bit of space there. Now this might not work for everyone, so if that doesn't feel right for you, you're going to lengthen the left leg instead here. Okay, so be mindful of your knee joint and how that's feeling, and if it doesn't feel right, then take the lengthened leg option. So place your hand out behind. Inhale, sweep the left fingertips up to the sky. Either you can work here or you can start to lift your hips and press your hips up. So finding a little heart lift here. As you exhale, I want you to float the hips and the arm back down. 2 more. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up, lifting the heart, pressing the hips away from the ground. Exhale, come back down. And 1 more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, floating back down. Well done. Switch it over. So this time we've got the left leg bent in, right leg. We've got this right hip internally rotating here. So you're either bending, this right heel could be coming in towards the hip, or you can have the leg lengthened. Left hand comes out behind. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up. Maybe you find that lift through the hips as well. Maybe you even drop the head back a little here. Heart is lifting. Exhale, float back down. 2 more. Moving with your breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, floating back down. And last one. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, float back down. Well done. Coming back to your seated position on your mat and bringing the soles of your feet together. Let the knees drop out to the side, finding our Baddha Konasana, our bound angle position. So taking any blocks that you need under the thighs, or you could create more of a diamond shape with the legs and bring the feet further away from the body to help if you're finding you're getting some gripping in the hips here. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forwards, leading with the chest. And just remembering that we're still at the beginning of this practice. So just honouring however the body feels right here in this present moment. We're not forcing anything. Just really connecting to how the body feels and what you need today in this practice. So sometimes our ego jumps in and tells us what our ego thinks we should be doing or ought to be doing, and that's okay. It's part of being human. But seeing if we can go a little bit deeper than that, seeing if we can go beneath that, connecting to what we really need in this moment. Inhale, lift the chest, coming away from the fold. You can use your hands to draw the knees back in. Well done. And we'll come into tabletop position now, so finding your all fours position on the mat. Shoulders stacked above the wrists, hips above the knees. Take an inhale, send the gaze out in front, open across the chest. And exhale, drop the head, draw the belly in, round through the spine. Inhale, lift the gaze, shine the heart forwards. Exhale, rounding, dropping the head. Inhale, lift the gaze, open across the chest. Exhale, drop the head, press the mat away with your hands, really lifting through the shoulders. And inhale, come back to center. So we're going to take it into our thread the needle now. So grounding into your left hand, we're going to bring the right arm underneath as you bend through the left arm and send the right side of your head down to the mat. Now be really mindful of your head and your neck here. So if this feels too much, you're going to take some cushioning or support underneath your head, or you're going to sit the hips lower, more like a child's pose, and then come into your twist there. Okay, so take the modifications that you need. An option to reach the left fingertips up to the ceiling. If that doesn't feel right for you, then you can keep that left hand grounded to support you. So really stretching into the back of the body here, the rhomboids. So some more options here to add on. And again, just listening, only taking what feels right for you. Option to bring your hands into prayer position, so palms of the hands meeting together. And as you press the hands together, seeing if you can find maybe a little bit deeper in the twist. Either working here, or next option is maybe you can start to reach that left leg away from the mat, so reaching it out behind. So working into a little bit of balance here as well. Don't worry if you're rolling all over the place. Well done. See if you can bring that left leg back in with control. Release. Bring the left hand down to the mat. Press the left hand into the mat and unravel back to tabletop position. Take a deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling. Now coming onto the other side, ground into your right hand. Thread the left arm underneath, left side of the head comes down to the mat or to a cushion. Again, taking any adjustments that you need. Option to reach the right fingertips up to the ceiling. Keep your connection to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to bring the hands to this prayer position, so palms of the hands coming together, pressing them together, seeing if you can find your twist a little bit deeper here. Just an option. And maybe you start to float the right leg away from the mat, hovering it here, working into a little bit of balance. Breathing into any wobbles and shakes. It's all part of this practice. Well done. With control, draw the right leg back in if you'd taken it away. You can release the hands and bring your right hand down to the mat. Press it into the mat as you unravel back to your tabletop position. From here, hips staying above the knees. Exhale and walk the hands out in front, and we'll melt the heart and the forehead down to the mat for our melting heart pose, extended puppy. So keeping that connection to your breath again here, inhaling and exhaling. Opening and releasing into the shoulders, the upper back, the cervical part of the spine. Just letting your heart melt down towards the earth. Imagining just releasing any tension, anything that's not serving you. That could be mentally, physically, emotionally. Inhale, start to walk the hands back into center, so back into your tabletop position. Tuck your toes under and exhale, send the hips to the sky for your downward facing dog. So really pressing the ground away with your hands. Hips are lifting, And then from here, seeing if you can lift this right hand away and bring it towards the left ankle, and see if you can take a twist here in your downward facing dog, maybe gazing underneath the left armpit. If this feels too much, then again, just staying in your downward facing dog. You can always take a child's pose at any time. Bring the right hand back down, make your way onto the other side, so left hand comes to the right ankle, sending your gaze underneath that right arm. Coming back to center. Inhale, see if you can lift your heels away from the mat. Bring the heels over to the right. Exhale, bend through the legs. Find that deep stretch here into the left side body. Inhale, bring the heels back through center, over to the left side. Exhale, bend the legs. Find the stretch into the right side of the body. Keep pressing the mat away with your hands here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, draw the heels down towards the mat. That's just a gesture of where they're heading. Inhale, shift the shoulders forwards, coming into a plank position. We're going to flow through a chaturanga, so you're either going to take the modified version and drop the knees down and come into your cobra, or on your inhale, making your way into an upward facing dog. Exhale, floating back to downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through the nose. Inhale, sweep the right leg through between the hands. Reach the fingertips up, find a high lunge. Back leg doesn't have to be straight, you can keep a bend. Just checking that the front knee is aligned with the ankle. Bring the hands through to heart center. Step the left foot in slightly, so we've got the left toes at a slight angle here. Hips are shining forwards. Inhale, reach the crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forwards, keeping the spine long, keep the right hip tucked in. It's coming into our pyramid pose. So you could either be staying here at this kind of halfway point, or you've got the option to bring the hands down. Maybe you're working towards bringing the forehead towards the right shin. Being mindful of that deep stretch into the back of the right leg. So only take what you need today. Sending your breath into the back of the right leg as it stretches open. Inhale, bring the hands back to the hips, keep the spine long, start to lift the chest, coming back up to center. Now from here, we're going to ground into the right leg and bending this left foot in, seeing if you can bring your hand to the left foot and find into the quad. So you can use a wall for this. You can also use a strap as well. So you could always have your strap around your foot and be working here. So taking any support that you need and just seeing if you can gently press the hips forwards. So more options again for you today. We're going to inhale, reach the right fingertips up. So taking as many or as little of these options as you need to. And then seeing if you can press that back foot into the hand, hand into the foot. So starting to come into our dancer pose, so opening in the heart space, spinal extension. So maybe you start to come into your dancer. Option to take your chin mudra with this right hand, index finger coming to the thumb. Breathing here, wherever you are, whichever option you've taken. And releasing. And then seeing if you can bring this left leg, take a big step back. So coming back to a high lunge. Float the hands down to the mat, step it back to plank. And work through your chaturanga. So inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Taking a breath here, taking a child's pose if you need to. And then coming on to the other side, this time we sweep the left foot through between the hands, reach the fingertips up, find your high lunge. Really lifting up and out from the waist. Back leg can have a bend in it. Just checking your alignment with your front knee. We want the front knee stacked above the ankle. Joints are stacked. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step the back foot in slightly. Both legs are lengthened. Inhale, reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, folding forwards. Keep the spine long. Keeping the left hip tucked in. And just coming down to a point that feels right for you. So option to take the hands down to the mat if that's in your practice. There's no right or wrong here. Just really stretching into the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, calves. Inhale, bring the hands back to the hips. Start to lift the chest, keeping the spine long. And we'll step in this time. So this time we've got the right heel coming in towards the hip, and you're taking your right hand to your right foot. So you can use a wall, a strap, take any support that you need. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up to the sky. That's just an option. And then maybe you start to press the foot into the hand into the foot, so creating this back bend, this spinal extension for dancer. Again, you don't have to take this option. You can keep a micro bend through the standing leg here as well if you need to. Keep breathing. Well done. And releasing. Seeing if with control you can take a big step back with the right leg, find a high lunge. And then float the hands down to the mat, step it back. And we'll take a final chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Reconnecting with your breath here. And then we'll drop the knees down to the mat. Come up to a high kneeling position. Bring the hands to your lower back, and we're drawing the elbows in together. So sometimes it helps to tuck the toes underneath here. That's just an option that brings the heels a little bit higher as we come into our camel pose. So inhale, reach the crown of the head to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, we start to really press the hips forwards, engage the glutes and the legs, squeeze the elbows in towards each other and send the gaze up towards the ceiling. So you could be working here in a little baby camel. If you want to come deeper, you can, of course, work with bringing the hands down to the heels, but only if that feels right for you. Don't force anything here. Be kind to your body, listen to your body. Keep pressing the hips forwards, engaging the glutes and the legs. And slowly start to bring your hands back to the lower back, releasing from your camel. And sit the hips down towards the heels. Just take a little twist from side to side, releasing through the spine. And then popping your hips down onto the mat. Soles of the feet are coming down, legs are bent. And then we're going to bring the hands out behind, and you can either have the fingers pointing in or out depending on what feels right for you. So hands are grounded, feet are grounded, and we're going to come into inclined plane. So on your inhale, pressing the feet and the hands into the mat, and we start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. And then seeing if you can send your gaze up towards the ceiling here as well. Maybe dropping the head back if that feels good too. So this is a really good stretch for the shoulders and the arms, and it's really good for the connective tissue and the nerves in this area. There's also quite a bit of strength here, as I'm sure you can probably feel. Breathing. Well done. Exhale, bring the hips back down to the mat. Take a little shake out through the arms. Oh, avoid any radiators or walls that might be there. And then bringing the legs out in front. And if you have your strap with you today, or a dressing gown tie, I definitely recommend grabbing that here. This is a great one to use with Paschimottanasana. So you can bring the strap or equivalent around the balls of the feet and then come into your neutral spine position. Take your inhale here, reach the crown of the head to the ceiling, and then start to fold forward, and you can use your strap to create that resistance whilst keeping the spine nice and long. So on your inhale, making space, on your exhale, sinking into that space you created. And then from here, we're going to start to walk the hands out in front, melting the heart and the forehead down to the mat, and really reaching the fingertips out in front, melting into a child's pose here. So closing the eyes or taking a steady gaze. And then in your child's pose, just seeing if you can walk your fingertips over to the right. Feeling that stretch into the left side of the body. Taking slow, soft breaths. Walking the hands back through center and over to the left side this time. Feeling the stretch into the right side of the body. And then taking the hands back through center, just letting everything soften and melt into the mat. Let your body weight be fully held by the ground beneath you. And starting to open the eyes back up when you're ready, walking the hands back in. And then just coming back to a comfortable seated position on the mat. Palms facing up. Option to take your chin mudra again here, index finger meeting the thumb. Closing the eyes or taking a steady gaze. And close off the practice with a releasing breath. So inhaling through the nose for 3 counts and exhaling out through the mouth like a big sigh. So inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. Let it go. Thank you so much for joining me for that full body stretch. I hope you are feeling very nice and stretched out after that. Do comment and feedback to me on how you're getting on, and please do subscribe to this channel if you can. It is completely free, and I really appreciate you being here and the support on here. So yeah, please do let me know how you're getting on, and I can't wait to see you again for another flow very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.